Hey guys, here we are in the Chevy Silverado at Watkins Glen for a short track guide. In this video I'm going to do my fastest lap, and then I'm going to show that lap again in slow motion and analyze how I approach each corner. So without further ado, let's head on to the lap. So that was a 1:14.547 lap time, and that was at the track temperature of 105 and track usage of 60%. So now let's head on to the slow motion lap. So as we're approaching the finish line here, just getting a good exit out of the last corner, just shifting up to fourth gear, and you're looking over on the left-hand side for your braking zone. So you can see as we're approaching, there's like a caution light, and then that's kind of right in between, or that's right before the 300. I'm braking just after the caution light and using about 80% brake pressure, not 100%, but yeah, it's very easy to lock up the tires by braking too hard, but yeah, just really focus on having consistent brake pressure. If you let off and then get back on or whatever, you can't really judge whether that was the right play. So just having consistent brake pressure is really important. And then, as you heard in the fast lap, like when I downshifted to third, there was a bit of a wheel hop there, so just being careful with waiting to downshift a bit later. If you downshift a bit earlier, it's easier to wheel hop the car. So getting over to the apex, putting two right side tires onto the inside curb. If you get too far on the curb, you can get the car unstable. Like the inside part of the curb is a bit higher up, so but yeah, just holding the tight line through the first corner. And then on exit, it's okay to go a bit wide here, maybe get like two tires past the exit curb. But if you get like four tires out there, you're kind of just going a bit too wide and you can just be losing time. So really just focus on having like slow in, fast out for that first corner. So as we approach the S's, shifting up to third, and this is definitely a pretty technical bit because you're not able to go flat, but you're kind of just managing the throttle and just trying to hold the inside here. So you can see just partial throttle, holding the tight right side, and this is really crucial because it's like as we're exiting this right-hander or approaching the left-hander, this is basically the only point through these S's where the car is quite stable and just kind of you're going straight. And so this is like the perfect time. You can see the rev lights to shift up to fourth gear. If you start shifting late while you're in this left-hander, you end up kind of unstabilizing the car as you're like turning and upshifting, and so you can get pretty loose and lose a lot of momentum through that straight. So really try to upshift like kind of on that straight between the right and left-hander, so you can kind of get back on the gas as soon as possible. And so then you just bring the car over to the right-hand side, just taking the shortest distance along the back straight here, and up to fourth gear. Looking on the left-hand side again for the braking zones, and you can see this like large pillar. That's a good point, not like just for reference, maybe not like where to brake, but you look at 600, kind of like right after that 600, like the black board getting on the brakes around 75% brake pressure down to third gear. And I would say the most critical part of this bus stop is just this first curve here, honestly, just taking as much of that as possible, putting you in a good position over to the right-hand side, that way you can turn in, have a wide entry. And you just see holding the brake here as I'm getting over the curb, really trying to hold the car tight here. Once you start having older tires and stuff, it's very easy to just like bring the car out wider and wider, just sliding out over here. But if you can just keep the car tight into this the second curb, I stayed in third for this hot lap. But when you have older tires, maybe consider going down to second gear just to bring the car in. It's really about the line here more than anything, and so it's easy. If you get stuck out there, then you might get like 2 tires up on the grass, and like, then the car gets a bit loose and just slidey. So you can see I even had a bit of oversteer here, like this correction moment, and just kind of drifting into the carousel. But yeah, just trying to hold the inside here, just a bit of brakes, and yeah, I'm basically staying in third. You can go to second, but I feel that the upshift on exit, you kind of lose a bit of time on that upshift. So if you just stay in third, you can kind of keep the car more stable using all of the exit room there. And then as we're approaching these final 2 corners, they're kind of just medium speed corners, so nothing too complicated here. Looking on the right hand side for braking zone, and this is just more about like using the fence more than anything. You can see the fence kind of disappears, and the blue wall kind of goes wider. That's kind of your mark to start braking around 75%. Down to third gear, and I'm almost like, this is very crucial just to take as much of the inside curb as possible, even if you get your tires on the grass, because it's easy to sometimes just get a bit wide on this next to last corner and then taking a lot of extra curb or having to let off because you don't want to run wide. But yeah, just having the car very tight on the inside for that corner, and then approaching this final corner here, braking a lot earlier, kind of using this tire barrier as a reference for where to brake, kind of straight line braking. And then as we're entering this final corner, trailing off to bring the car into the apex. Once we're finally there, you can see there's no application, but for a short time, then getting back onto the gas. And as we're approaching the front straight here, this is like a super important corner to get a good exit on, since it's going to carry you all the way down to turn 1. So if you can just get the apex to very tight on the inside, you're able to get back to the gas and you won't let off. A lot of times if you get a bit wide, then you have to like be a bit cautious on throttle getting back on because you don't want to hit the outside wall. Very easy to do, but yeah, I'd say this race is going to be a lot about just being consistent on the brakes and like having just a solid like threshold braking, but not locking up the tires, and then being patient on your downshifts, not downshifting too early. I feel if you can do those 2 things and just focus on managing your tires, that you can hopefully be there at the end. But yeah, hopefully this track guide helped, and see you guys next time.